Welcome to episode 3 of Connected 3 Unplugged, where I'm joined with Rosa. So what do you do at Connected 3 and what does your day-to-day role look like?
So I'm currently business director at Connected 3. So I predominantly look after our Manchester office, and my remit is client retention, staff retention and new business. So I'm really involved with all my staff members, really involved with all of the clients that we have, bringing in leads, going to events, speaking at events.
What is the favourite aspect of your role?
I love that I've got the opportunity to do a lot of travel all around the country and a lot of different places in Europe as well.
Amazing.
So I get to go and represent C3, do talks, go to expos, and I really like that part of the job.
Yeah.
I also really like how hands-on it is with staff members still. So I still get to have regular catch-ups with everyone in the Manchester office. I'm aware of what's going on, and we've formed a really great team there, and that's something I'm very proud of. So I think those two combined.
Tell us what the most exciting campaign is that you've worked on to date.
So I'm business director now, but my background is predominantly digital PR. I was previously head of digital PR at Connected 3. So I love big high concept creative campaigns. I worked with a sex toy client and we did a campaign on getting the UK to talk about sex more. So we looked at the UK's top sexual fantasies, we looked at how people feel communicating about sex, and we did a really incredible 3-month campaign about sexual wellness in the UK. And it was really fun to work on because it's a super sexy subject and it's a really fun product offering, but I felt like we were doing something really good as well because we were getting people talking about sex, getting people communicating more, and it was a really nice high concept campaign. So I think that was my favourite.
How do you measure success within your role?
That's a really difficult one. For me, success is clients being happy but staff being happy. I think that's really important for me. I want to make sure the team feels comfortable, enjoys the jobs, have career progression plans, and I really want the Manchester office to grow as well. So we started with just 2 of us and we're now at 17, which has been amazing growth, and it's been so good to be part of. So I think those 3 combined, I think client happiness, staff happiness and growth.
Talk us through what your best failure has been.
I think failure is a really important thing in digital marketing. I think the industry is so complex and there are so many different things to try out that you've got to learn how to fail fast and learn from it. I've also felt like certain things have been failures on my path to where I am now, and I've seen they've actually just got me to where I've needed to be. So an example is at one of my previous agencies a few years ago when I was kind of at the very start of my career, there was a internal position opening and it was for a job that I really, really wanted, but I just didn't have the confidence to go for it because I was concerned about how it would look if I didn't get that job. So I didn't go for it in the end, and I've spoken to the person who was hiring previously, and he was my manager, and a few years passed and spoken to him about it, and he said of course you would have got that job, like of course you would have done, but I let my insecurity and my fear of failure hold me back. So that's a failure that I've really learned from, and every time I feel like there is a risk that I need to take and I'm worried about how people would perceive me if I fail at that risk, I always think about that situation.
Who or what has been the biggest influence on your career?
I've been really lucky in my career to work with some absolutely fantastic people in my previous agencies. Really amazing at the jobs, but also really incredibly supportive. Places like the E-Word and Bring Digital, where I started my career a little bit more early on. They were the type of people who saw something in me that I maybe didn't see in myself and pushed me to do things and to be better and to take risks. I'll always be very grateful for that. And there are a number of people at C3 who I see, and the work that they do every day is just absolutely fantastic. And the teams that they run and how we've grown and how they've dealt with the growth and the clients, and feel influenced and inspired by people in C3 all the time.
What has been your best C3 moment today?
There's been so many good ones. I loved our first summer party that we had in Leeds. It was just after lockdown. It was the first time most of us were meeting face to face. So I felt like I knew these people so well and had never met them before, so it was really funny seeing how tall everyone was. One of my other favourite moments was just recently we had our first Manchester All-In. So once a month we all go to the Leeds office and everyone gets together and we have pizza and we have an update, and it's a really nice way to socialise. We've grown so much as a Manchester team now that once a quarter we're having our own Manchester All-Ins. So everyone comes to the office, we all get pizza, we're all together, and it was the first one that we did, and it was just so much fun. It was so great to get everyone together. We're all different departments in Manchester. It's digital PR, it's paid, it's social media, it's client services. It was just great to have everyone in the same place and to do that update and to see the team.
What is a book that you'd recommend to read and why?
I really like anything by Margaret Atwood. She's probably my favourite author, and I think she has a really interesting look and view on the world, and when you read books like hers it helps you with empathy and it opens up ways of thinking that you might not have thought about before.
What is the best investment of your time you've ever made?
I think as a leader, the best investment of my time is getting to know my team. I think it's incredibly important to know everyone as much as you can on a personal level, but also an understanding of where they want to be, why they want to be there, and why they're doing the role they're doing at the moment. I think that's a really great way of being able to understand your team, grow your team, and get yourself and them to where you want to be and need to be.
What advice would you give to your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to be more confident, not worry so much about what other people are thinking, and take risks. Like, really go for it and go for what you want.
Is there any advice that you'd give to someone looking for a job in digital PR? And do you think there's any specific qualities that you think are essential for success?
Yeah, so I think networks are really important. So building your own network in the industry, following people on Twitter, and keeping an eye out into what's going on in the industry, but also in the news. I know that's something that everyone says, but it is super important in PR. You've got to have your ear to the ground. You've got to know what people are talking about, why they're talking about it, and how you can make that work for you. Creativity is a really big one. So giving yourself the space to be creative and to think of ideas is an incredibly important trait to have if you want to get into digital PR. But you also need to align that with being strategic and making it work for you. So practice creativity, keep your ear to the ground, make sure you know what's going on, and try and understand the strategic side of digital PR by doing your research, looking at different agencies' websites, understanding why they're doing what they're doing, and just making sure you're building your knowledge that way.
Thank you so much for joining us, Rosa, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on next episode of Connected 3 Unplugged.